Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Ban Yasharallah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm the Car Kharab Ban Yasharallah, coming out of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a lesson. The title of this lesson is Camel Swallowing and Gnat Straining. And it's just a land back, you know, more focusing on a few scriptures coming out of Matthew chapter 23 that we brought out during camp Saturday gone, talking about, you know, the Liui Seers, the purple Power Rangers, you know, how they swallow a camel but they strain out a gnat. You know, they do all the studying, they do all the teaching and all the reading and all this stuff, and only thing they can tell you to do is follow the law and wear fringes. You know, all that studying, all that, and the only thing they can tell you to do is follow the law and wear fringes. They don't never tell you that if you go by the law solely, if you break so much as even one law, you are guilty of the whole breaking the whole law, and there's a judgment for that. And through the law, you will not be saved. Through the law solely, you will not be saved. You will not receive redemption. You will receive judgment and destruction, because the laws are the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. He changed not. He said don't do certain things. He meant that. He didn't say, oh, don't do certain things, but I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna put this addition in so that if you do something, oh, don't worry about it. No, the Lord say don't eat pork, don't do it. He say don't commit adultery, don't do it. There is no excuse. There is no I would say there is no slack. If you're gonna go by the law solely, ain't no slack in that. You're gonna have to go by the law. And the only one that kept the law perfectly was the Lord, Yahweh Shai, our Savior, our big brother. He was the only one that did that on this earth. No man can do that because we're in this sinful body. This flesh is sinful. It's contrary to the spirit. The spirit want to do right. The flesh want to do wrong. They don't tell you that it's 613 laws, statutes, commandments that you got to follow. They just tell you to follow the law and wear fringes. They don't tell you the names of the Lord, the Heavenly Father. They don't do none of this. They do all this reading, yet they don't go according to the doctrine. They do all this teaching, yet they don't teach the people the truth. They don't do what they're supposed to do. So they do all this camel swallowing, and they strain out a gnat, like this picture right here of plankton. What is he doing? He's straining. As a matter of fact, let's get that word strain. I'm going to get a couple of definitions right here. This is the word strain. This is an effortful attempt to attain a goal, Salakia. Second definition, an intense or violent exertion, and that's what they do. They really, it's an intense, violent exertion on their end, because they bend over backwards to try and bring out the scriptures, and it's still wrong. And the third definition is to exert much effort or energy. So they exert all this effort and all this energy, talking about they doing the work for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but the only thing they do is give you a gnat-sized piece of the truth. But they done swallowed the. They're gonna say they done swallowed the whole camel and strained out this little itty bitty gnat. They've omitted the heavier, the weightier matters of the scriptures. They caught up in how they look on the outside. They broaden the borders of their garments, something you ought not to do. They do these things in the sight of men to look good for men, to get praise from men, rather than doing the work to give for Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua to get the praise. So again, the title of this lesson is camel swallowing and gnat straining, and that's what they do. They swallow the camel and they strain out a gnat. This is Matthew chapter 23, verse 13. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." As a matter of fact, let's get that word hypocrite real quick. This is the word hypocrite. It says false pretender to virtue or religion. Let's get another definition. It says a person who professes beliefs and opinions that he or she does not hold in order to conceal his or her real feelings or motives. So what are their real feelings and motives? They show you their real feelings and motives are to look good in the sight of men and to make money, to sell merchandise, to make the house of the Lord what it was. We'll say the house of the Lord, a place of merchant, a place of buying and selling. But again, it says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses for a pretense," and for a pretense. Oh no, Salaki, I didn't even finish it. Let me go back up to verse 13 because I skipped down too quick. It says, "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in." And this is what they do. They shut up the kingdom of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua against men, the kingdom of heaven against their own people, against men. For they themselves don't even go into the kingdom or don't walk in the truth as they're supposed to. And they don't suffer anyone that is entering to go in either. So they kingdom blockers. They blocking the kingdom of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua from the people. They themselves ain't even finna go in the kingdom like they think they finna go in the kingdom. They gonna be in the kingdom. They gonna go in, but they ain't gonna go in. They ain't gonna be part of that first fruit. But they're not gonna be part of that first fruit. As a matter of fact, let's get Micah chapter 2, verse 8 real quick. There we go. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 8. It says, "Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely, as men averse from war." And that's what they do. They block the kingdom from people, from men that pass by, meaning they take the covering and the righteousness off of the people and they put on their hypocritical covering, that covering that does not benefit the people. So when people coming by, they take the righteousness off of them by binding heavy ordinances on them. Tell them, "Oh, you got to follow the laws only and wear fringes." It's not going to save you. It's just not. Because as I stated earlier, if you go by the laws solely and the laws only, well, if you break one law, you're guilty of breaking the whole law, and it's a judgment for that, and it's not a pretty judgment. It's a judgment of destruction. So they pull off the clothing and the robe of our people. They pull off the righteousness of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua and put that tethered man-made doctrine on them, that tethered hypocritical doctrine on them. And then tell them, "Okay, yeah, you good to go." They around here blocking the kingdom from the people, from people who are truly trying to learn, but they themselves don't even go in. They stopping other people from going in. Let's continue. Let's go to verse 14. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses. For a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation." So y'all around here devouring widows' houses. Most of their congregation is women. Women. Getting married, all this stuff, having all these extravagant events and gatherings. And they subvert whole households. leading silly women laden with sins to destruction. And for that, they're going to receive the greater damnation. But let's continue. This is verse 15 of Matthew chapter 23. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves." You know, they compass land and sea. You know, Nathaniel, he got an airplane, he got a jet that he fly around the four corners of the earth, calling himself ministering. Well, that's compassing land and sea. And they make one proselyte. They find one person. They try to convert one person, and when that person is made, or they convert that one person, they take that one person and make that one person twofold more the child of hell, or either devil than themselves. So they around here creating sinful people. Our people are already sinful enough. They around here making our people worse. All because the hypocrisy and all that camel swallowing and gnat straining. They around here binding the heavy burdens on the people instead of telling people the truth. They don't tell people the truth. They're called the Lord by a Greek name, but when you ask them their name, they'll tell you a Hebrew name. That's hypocritical. The truth of the matter is, I don't even think really they even believe. But yeah, let's continue. I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna jump down to verse 23. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." So that's what they do. They pay tithes. You already know they got booster clubs. They got cats among their congregation selling garments and t-shirts to the rest of their congregation, paying a monthly allotment, giving all this tithes and collecting all this money and doing all this stuff. But when it comes down to the weightier matters, the more important matters of the laws, the statutes, the commandments, the wisdom, the walk of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, they don't do none of that stuff. They leave it undone. And it says we're not supposed to leave that stuff undone. You ain't supposed to omit that and overlook it and not do it. There's a whole lot more to just following the laws only and wearing fringes. It's more to it than that. It's way more to it than that. You gotta have the spirit. You gotta walk in truth. You gotta walk in righteousness. You gotta go according to the doctrine. No isms, no schisms. No not being carnal. It's a whole lot. But that's what happens when you swallow a camel and strain out a gnat. You tend to overlook the weightier matters of things when it comes down to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Let's continue. My point verse. It says, "Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel." So that's all they do. They take it. They just take in all this stuff, this information, the knowledge. They think they're taking in. They do all this studying and teaching. They do all that and all that straining, and they only get a little bit out. They do all this supposed teaching, and you can really mess up their whole argument of what they're talking about with a simple question. Where your fringes at? Where your phylacteries? Well, we don't even wear your phylacteries, man. So that's what they do. They strain at a gnat and they swallow a camel. They take in much and put out little. That's basically what they're saying. Let's continue. Verse 25. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." You notice Yahweh keep calling them hypocrites, right? It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess." You already know what goes on in the congregation. They try their best to keep it hid. Oh, Nathaniel 7, he knows he's under a microscope, so he's gonna try to keep that stuff hid. But it's all kind of tomfoolery goes on within that. You know it. You can just look at them and tell. But they want to try to look good on the outside. They want to make the outside of the cup look good. They want to try to look good for the sight of men, for the eyes of men. But within they're full of extortion and excess, of sin, of transgression, adultery, lies, murder. And these are all proven facts. Verse 26, "Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also." So you must clean up on the inside first before you start trying to clean the outside, which they do not do. They want that outside to look good. That's why they wear those garments, looking like Rain off Mortal Kombat. Making broad the borders of their garments, which we ought not to do. That's a commandment. We ain't supposed to do that. It's really not a good thing to do. But you know, they strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. But let's continue. Verse 27. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity." So there you go. It says they're like whited sepulchres. I mean, they're like a nice looking casket that look good on the outside and it appears beautiful outwardly, but within they're full of dead men's bones. They don't have the spirit of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua. They're full of all uncleanliness, spiritual immorality. This is why you can fluster them so easy and they get carnal very fast. And all you can do is be asking legitimate questions when it comes down to the scriptures. And you notice when they run across somebody that has legitimate questions, if you ever watch their videos, they always want to pass the mic off. They want to pass the mic off to one that they think that knows something. And when that one doesn't know something, they pass the mic off again. Just another example. The brother Gnat of this camp, he was just asking questions. They was teaching in a certain spot here in Duval, in Jacksonville. He was just asking questions. Them niggas got carnal real quick. And all Gnat was doing was just asking a question. All the brother Gnat was doing was just asking a question. According to the scriptures, according to the doctrine, according to the truth. And immediately, they went to ad hominem attacks. They went to acting crazy, yelling, talking loud, acting like a bunch of, like my grandmama Thelma used to say, they went to acting like a bunch of baboons and went to acting crazy and stupid. So they out there to look good, but within, they full of all kind of extortion, uncleanliness. They appear righteous unto people, unto men, but they're just full of dead men bones. They don't have the spirit. They don't have the breath. So even somebody that's not well versed in the scriptures or don't really understand and just has a legitimate question, they can't answer it. The only thing they're going to tell you to do is, well, follow the laws and wear your fringes. They're taking off the garments and the robe of our people that walk by securely. They blocking the kingdom. They in the way when they themselves are not even going to enter into the kingdom like they think they are. You let them talk, they got their chariot parked outside around the corner somewhere already. But let's continue. Oh, snap. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to verse 4 of Matthew chapter 23. It says, "For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and they lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad the phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called Rabbi, Rabbi." So this is what they do. They bind heavy burdens. They tell people that to follow the law and do all this, but they themselves don't even do that crap. You can look at them cats and tell, man. Them boys don't be doing nothing they be supposedly teaching. They don't be doing none of it. They bind heavy burdens on the peoples when they themselves wouldn't even lift a finger to even be an example. But their works they do so they can be seen of men. They just go out there so people can see them. That's it. They make broad their phylacteries. They enlarge the borders of their garments. Why do you think they have those fancy schmancy garments? They do it to be seen of men. They love the uppermost rooms of feasts, like when they had a Passover. These niggas come out looking like rhinestone cowboys. With all these shiny garments and all these tassels and stuff, all that plated pleather they wear. You ain't supposed to do none of that stuff. They want to be called rabbi. They want to be called. They want to be exhorted by men. The bishop is here. The bishop is coming. He back. It's stupid, man. It is stupid. Let's go to Sirach, my last point. Chapter 1, verse 29. There we go. This is Sirach, chapter 1, verse 29. It says, "Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest." So you ain't supposed to be a hypocrite in the sight of men. You're supposed to take heed what you're saying, especially when you call yourself breaking down these scriptures. Yo, you really supposed to be paying attention. You really supposed to be paying attention extremely hard. When you doing the work of Yahweh Bashim outside, you got to have a microscope on yourself. They don't do this. The Lord said, don't be a hypocrite in the sight of men. But aren't they hypocrites in the sights of men? Yes, they are. Do they take good heed what they speak? No, they don't. That's why they say stupid, retarded stuff like Nathaniel is Elijah. That is the most foolish thing I done heard so far coming from them. I thought Joe Biden was stupid. I guess Jake can top that. Abba Bivens was the incarnation or the reincarnation of Elijah. It was Abba Bivens that was doing this work that turned the hearts of the children to the father and the father hearts to his children. Nate didn't do that. He ain't doing that. He not gonna do that. Neither is his congregation. And you should not listen to them based on the truth, because they're not telling you the truth. So Only thing they be doing is camel swallowing and gnat straining. That's it. They take in all the knowledge. They do all this reading and studying and teaching only to tell you one small aspect of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, which is to follow the laws. It's a major part of it. You must follow the laws to the best of your ability. They'll tell you they can follow all 613 with no problem. That's just like saying you don't sin. And according to the scriptures, if a man says he doesn't sin or has no sin, he deceives himself. He's a liar, a devil. So again, just another lesson. And again, I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, B'Hashem Ha, Racha Kodash Ma'amoth. Another double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder Herawan Ban Yasharala yet again. And another salutations to the sincere Aki and pushing his truth around the four corners of this earth. And with that, Shalom.